All right. Let's see what's going on over here. Welcome. Thanks. How's everybody doing this morning? All right, so today I decided, we do this every so often, I decided today to be the day is to not have an agenda. So today will be dedicated to your questions. I know Sandy had some questions about thumb drives and such, and that'll work well with the discussion of backing up and things like that. Because there's lots of different options for how to back up. So I think Sandy should be back any minute. But does anyone have any questions? Get us started. Yeah?
I can't figure out whether this computer doesn't have a microphone, but our little friend there can't hear me.
Oh, Cortana can't hear you?
Oh, Cortana, I can't remember.
That's all right. So you've tried to do the little setup thing and it... All right, so...
Look at it. Well, that's another thing I find it hard to find. I found the device. I can look at my different devices, and I went through that little thing, and I didn't have any luck. So I thought it was me.
All right, so...
I know I have a camera up here.
Yes, the webcam.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I don't know if that is anything, if the two are connected or what.
No. It's separate hardware. So the first thing that you want to do, so if you take a look at the screen, she's not able to get, she's unsure if her computer has a built-in speaker, or not speaker, microphone.
Yeah,
thank you.
I first thought, wow, a speaker, there is a difference.
Yes, I know, and I always say them wrong. So the thing that you want to do, if you take a look at the screen, down in the bottom in your little start, or your system tray here, you should have this icon, which is your speakers.
Yeah, I have that.
If you right click on it, you'll get this context menu. And the third one says recording devices. Click on that, and then you'll get this window to pop up. Hold on a second. Let me see if we can get this up on screen for people.
Okay, now that did not. Okay, it says external mic, and then it has integrated microphone array.
Right.
And it has a little green.
So
there with a check. It says
yeah.
Device.
Yeah. So if it's got the green check mark, that means it's default. Much like you have a default printer. So if you have multiple printers, there will be a green check mark letting you know that's your default printer. So that's letting you know which is the default one. But what you want to look for is see how I only have one listed. You said you've got several?
I have just two external.
Okay.
Mic, and underneath it has ready.
Right.
And under the other one it says default device.
Right. So if you take a look, the green bar, do you have green bars on the far right side? And are they moving? Are any of them moving? So
no, they're not moving.
None of them are moving. See, you can see mine moving as I'm talking.
Yes. Okay.
That's indicating that it's picking up the sound of my voice. So that's the one that I want. It's the only one on the list, but that's the one that I would want to mark as my default one because that's the one that obviously is picking up sound. So as you're talking, if you talk, nothing comes up? Nothing
comes up, no.
All right, so we'll go over there and take a look at that. We'll leave this up on screen for people to just look at and get a better idea.
Now I have another little icon down here in the toolbar with a microphone or something.
Yeah, that's this window.
Oh, okay.
So test 1, 2, 3. All right. So external light would be something that you plug in.
Right.
Integrated would mean.
Anybody want coffee?
No,
That one.
no, thank you.
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Why did they have
Did you give me one today?
that?
We no longer do our doctor recommended anymore.
These are both saying Codex, which is software. So my guess is that you
Well,
will not have.
Yeah. just
Okay.
recommend.
Okay.
Just as you get older, you need blood
You
to
need all your-
regenerate as quickly, and so.
Yeah, you don't recover as quick.
Oh, I wonder if I should be doing it. I just want to help Chris out.
Well, you
Yeah,
might,
we did too.
yeah, you might ask the
Yeah, I know.
attendant, you know.
Oh,
Oh, you see.
Did you have yours?
Dropbox is green now.
One other option would be to try, sometimes
Is your speaker working?
they don't work.
Mhm.
Of course, Cortana should tell you whether or not you actually have the.
Oh, speaker, play that.
Interesting. For
Yeah.
sure. You
Your
know.
her,
Yeah.
she,
Yeah, it's working.
Right.
yes, I did something when I was trying to use
This
it.
is that one is that you have
Speaker.
microphone plugged in, right?
Hey Cortana, do I have anything on Wednesday? Yes, you can. So either it's not working properly, and we'd have to find
What's your
You have to go to
speaker?
HP's website.
Your, speaker.
Okay.
and download the software for it,
Open that again.
or you may not
You
have.
always have that problem. Well,
You may not have
right.
microphone. Keep wanting to say speakers. You
Yeah.
might not have a microphone built in. How new is the computer?
Exactly right.
Well, I,
If it's in like the last couple of years, it should be.
no, it isn't. It's because 2010 is the office Windows I have on here. And that's another thing is to get into the office, I have to go, I have to bring my documents up and go into one document before I can get into it. Yet there is over, in my apps, there is a little icon for Windows
Yeah, or to get Office.
Office. I mean,
Yeah.
I keep using that Office 10, but it won't, it wants me to download it
Right.
as if I'm starting new.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And of course, it wants me to buy a new one.
Of course.
So I even Googled that question and I got everything but talking about Windows 10 and other Windows
Mm-hmm.
or, Office. They was talking about 3,
Right.
10 and 12, but nothing to say that it's compatible or works with Windows 10.
Yeah. So yeah, one option I would suggest is try reinstalling
Okay.
Office 2010. Just put the disks in and see if it'll reinstall or repair it, and see if that fixes the issue.
Did you have a disk or did you do it on?
Yeah, she's got she's got the discs. So and maybe because Sandy's HP, does your HP have like a little blue circle with a question mark on it? It does, in the bottom right corner. Click on that. That'll be easier than going to their website. Because when you click on that, what will happen is which is why Sandy's wouldn't update to Windows 10, is because some of her drivers, it was her BIOS software, was out of date. That little question mark will update. It's HP's way of updating the software for your hardware for your computer. And so if you do that, you might be able to update your audio drivers for your microphone, and that might correct the problem. I'm having an issue right now with my wireless, and I think updating it fixed it. It might have been a Windows 10
Does
issue.
Dell have a similar thing? They have
Dell, yeah, the Dell, oh, they did. Dell was some kind of assistant.
They had a some kind of a scanning system. I don't
Yeah.
know right now.
A lot of them do, and more often than not, it's helpful. It's kind of, sometimes it can get frustrating because it's popping things up in your face.
Different name that.
I think it's the Dell Digital Assistant. At least it used to be. The last Dell I owned, Sandy can attest to, is fairly old. So but I think that's what it was called.
I'll look in the program.
But yeah, check there, or if you go to Dell's website, you might be able to re-download it.
Yeah, it tries to download every day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just-
Yeah, and again, Sandy's issue with upgrading to 10 was her BIOS was out of date.
Here's Dell System Detect and Support Assist.
That could be it.
Yeah.
It's sometimes the names are so ambiguous. I'm not sure if it. So did you find where to install updates?
Well, it gave me that option, but I went into it. The next page took me into.
Because it should look like the.
Okay, so.
This doesn't work.
So I clicked to the next page.
Updates. Well, check first. Go to your programs. Where's all your programs? Yeah, probably.
So now I'll let you know
Programs or?
Whether that.
whether there's updates to any parts of your HP's system. And then if not, I would try restarting the computer. My old laptop, my Dell, frequently had issues where, for whatever reason, the microphone would stop working on it. And I would have to reboot the computer every time for the software to start working for the microphone. And that was the only way to fix it.
That gives me a list here that says connected to HP and it, downloading messages and updates, and that one still has an X on it, the other one is green. Gathering configuration information, analyzing your system, and preparing the actions, they're all gray with check marks. Do I check on them or do I?
No, I think that means that it hasn't gotten there yet.
They're still working on
Yeah,
it?
it's still in the process.
Population green.
Yeah, and then what it should do, which is what Sandy's did, is it should show you a list of available updates when it's done. And then I would recommend installing all of them, but you can pick and choose which ones you do and don't want to install for your computer. Much like you can do in,
And as little as I know, I should do them
Just-
all.
just yeah.
Because I'll leave out the one.
yep, it's from HP, so they're not gonna.
I'll ask, are you using Edge as your internet browser now? Were you
I
able to get your favorites over there?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, your bookmarks
Yeah, bookmarks
to import them.
and
So
I use Norton Security and I had Norton Vault, which is where I store my passwords. And I can't get it. I don't know. It's come over. That's
right.
the only page I have is just right there where it's just kind of blank.
right.
Well,
So
and then I click into it. That's not-
yeah, so here's their new browser called Edge. I don't know why maybe they updated it or something, because I was using when it came out, I was using Microsoft Edge.
Oh, were you?
I was, because I wanted to try it out. They promoted it so heavily and saying it's so different from Windows or Internet Explorer.
Mhm.
And so I tried it for a week and I didn't like it.
Too busy, sometimes, what, too busy?
Yeah, one of the other things that it does is I download a lot of things. You know, we're sending bulletins back and forth to each other and things like that. This doesn't let you choose where to download your files. It just automatically downloads them to the downloads folder. Microsoft Edge does. And, you know, with Chrome and I think even Internet Explorer, it says, would you, you choose. And so you get that little dialog box and you say, well, I want to save it to my Dropbox in this folder, etc. And then you choose exactly where you want to save it. And that feature's not there. I couldn't find their print feature. It's here, but it wasn't working properly with, I forget what it was I was trying to do, but it wasn't working the way I wanted it to work. And so the more I kept doing with it, just for searching and doing basic stuff, works fine. But when I tried to do more and more advanced things with it, it seemed to be really lacking those features. And so I stopped using it after a week. I really wanted to just give it a try, and I did. So I gave it a week and I was unhappy with it. So I switched back to Google Chrome, which I'm always very happy with.
So you don't know if there's, I mean, it takes me, I haven't been able to get into Internet Explorer.
Yeah, apparently Internet Explorer still exists.
Right, but sometimes it won't let me go in there. It won't be dark. It'll be, shadowed. And you can click on it and start to work it's just.
Yeah, I personally like Google Chrome. I would recommend either Google Chrome or Mozilla Firefox. And they do.
I have Chrome on here.
Yeah.
And
you can have your little Norton toolbars on there and things like that. Whereas I don't know if you can with Microsoft Edge. I don't know. I didn't pay enough attention whether or not it allowed. No, I like the little Norton anti-phishing thing. And the little Skype button is cool. Highlights phone numbers on websites so you can call them with Skype. I actually like it because it just highlights the phone numbers, and so I can easily find a phone number on a web page. So, yeah, those are my personal preferences. I tried Edge for a week. I wasn't really a fan of it, so I switched back. I even unpinned Chrome from my start bar down here and pinned Edge to here, and so it was the only one I was using. I gave it, in my opinion, a fair shot, and it didn't impress. So stick with Google Chrome. Has it shown any updates for you, or did it?
Other than,
Is it still?
well, I went to,
Oh,
you went to what?
you just check the updates now.
And that's,
Are you saying there were X's on the list?
well, it does this for a while and then I lose the world there and then it has these, same thing, and the only one that has a green, yeah, there, that's what it says, completed.
Oh, that's included. Well, if it connected to the servers, then I'm guessing that all of these mean that there's no need for them. So, looks like you are up to date. Yeah, so it looks like you're up to date, so you either need to, my next suggestion would be just to reboot the computer and see if and then try right clicking on the audio icon and seeing if you get a bar moving up and down.
Okay.
And then if not, my next suggestion would be to go to HP's.
Here it says, I just popped up, I hit notifications, which is a new one down here.
Yeah.
And it says Action Center voice recording paused.
Well, it's paused.
So it's if
I don't know what paused means.
Well, it's, you got a button.
Well, yeah, but
Oh, okay. I think
is there a way to unpause it?
If you hit the equal sign again, it'll.
okay, here it says something here. Recording, this format isn't fully supported. Does that say I don't have what I need? Right? I mean, that's what I would think.
Let's check it out again.
So you want to see how I got here?
Yeah, the voice recorder.
So what I did is look at this, and then it went away.
Wrong button.
Oh,
You go with the speaker.
okay.
Right click. You right click.
Oh, right click. Okay.
Not on the actual speaker.
And then recording devices.
Yeah.
Oh, that's new.
If you want to go exit, you click on something, just click OK again. So click over there.
Click here.
Yeah. And retest. Yeah. It's not. So yeah, I'm gonna try rebooting the computer. If not, here's the other suggestion.
Okay,
Did you go to HP's website
okay.
and then click on this tab right here, support? Or actually, I guess you can just hover over it. Download drivers. And then you can do it has an auto detect feature. So you would click to find now. I'm not going to click on it because this computer is not an HP. So it's not going to be able to detect my computer. But you can click find now and it'll tell you it'll find out what computer you have. And then there will be a list, and on that list should be audio drivers. And again, you'll have this pulled up and see how mine says Realtek high def audio under where it says microphone. Realtek high def audio.
Okay.
You would find yours and make sure that it's the right product because you don't want to download. Intel doesn't make microphones, but I wouldn't want to download an Intel driver for my Realtek microphone. It won't work. So you need to find one that matches the name of your actual microphone, if that makes sense.
So I would look at this where we were looking here and
Yep.
that integrated microphone. I'd look for something that had something.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, something with the same name, and hopefully that is what you'll look for. You don't download HP drivers for a Sony product. You would drive that. So same thing with everything else. So you just have to look for ones that match what your microphone is. And that would be the last resort. And then after that, I think the final option would be that you don't have one and you can buy an external one that you plug in. If you look on the side of your computer, it's got should have two jacks. One is for headphones, and it's got the headphones, and the other is a microphone. And you would plug it obviously into the microphone one.
Okay.
And what I did,
I'm not sure I would use her, but I was just wanting to test it out.
right. One thing you can do is I bought this, which is a So it's got two plugs, one for both the headset and for the microphone. So I can say plug in my Apple headphones that come with the iPhone because it has the microphone built in. Because if you were to just plug it straight in, it only plugs into the headphone one, so it acts as headphones. But if you plug it into this thingy right here, it will enable both features. So you can have a headphone so you can use it as both headphones and a microphone.
Yeah, I have an iPhone, and I think I have it.
Yeah, it comes with the headset, and it's got that little thing that hangs down right about here, and it's a volume bar. Also lets you answer phone calls. Does lots of different things actually, which is really cool. But if you buy one of these, so you stick the one in the headphone, one in the microphone, put your iPhone earbuds in here, and you can use it as both a microphone and headset. So I bought that from, well, they're actually hard to find, which I thought was really bizarre, but I actually bought it from Walmart here in town, and it was over in the electronics section, but it was over where they have, I don't even know what you call it. It was in the telephone section of the, not cell phones, but telephones. Because what it's designed for is it's designed for something like Skype or GoToMeeting or teleconferencing of some kind. So it came with these really horrible earphones. But I bought it and spent I think it was $15 on it just for that portion of the technology, not the actual headphones. So if you're interested in that, there's that, or you can go to Amazon if you like shopping on Amazon. You can probably find them on there. But it allows you to do that, which can be really helpful, especially if you're doing a Skype or FaceTime, something like that. But if you have your iPad, the headphones for the iPhone automatically work in that fashion where it does both functions. They built it to do that. So that would be or you can just go straight to that route and not mess with any of the software stuff. Whatever you decide is the best option for you. So, but Cortana still works. You just can't talk to her. She'll still talk to you. You can click on that little bar and you can manually type things in.
Oh, okay.
So you just click on the bar and you just start typing stuff in, whether you're searching, ask me anything.
Okay.
You can type stuff in.
Oh, okay.
So she doesn't require you to have to talk to her.
Oh, okay.
So you can just type anything in you want. So I could type in bulletin, and it's going to start finding any and everything on my computer with bulletins. And then I can click down here, and it says web, and it'll actually search the web for that word instead. So you can search the web, you can search your computer with Cortana, and she'll do her best to figure out what you're looking for.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, it's not required to talk to her. It's just an extra feature, I guess. So you would say, hey, Cortana. Maybe not. Hey, Cortana. She's not listening to me. All right. I did enable the Hey, Cortana feature. Yep, it's on. She's supposed to listen to my voice only, but she's not listening to me. Hey, Cortana. Oh, there we go. Oh, and she disappeared. She didn't like that.
He said go.
She knows
Go.
You're playing with.
Yeah, maybe I said there we go, and so she's like, all right, I'm done. Go away. I tried saying that. I tried to tell her to go away, and she just kept listening to me.
Did you see that on the news where Siri saved somebody's life?
No.
Some boy was trapped in their car and he was working on the car and he collapsed and put his cell phone in his pocket and pushed it enough that Siri
Turned on. Mhm.
Call 911.
Yeah.
He couldn't get it with his hands.
I guess.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you have your phone plugged into if you have your iPhone plugged into the wall, you can say, "Hey Siri," and she'll beep for you. She'll turn on, but only if you're plugged into a power source. She won't just do it if you're, and they do that because they don't want anyone just saying, "Hey Siri," and see how many people have iPhones in the room. So, yep. But I think, I don't know, because I don't own either, but I think you can say, "Okay, Google," regardless with an Android phone, and it'll start listening to you. I think you have to have one of the newer operating systems on there, but I think it does it regardless of whether it's plugged in or not. Yeah, and they've got Google Now.
Yeah, Google Now.
Google Now and OK Google ties in with that. Where, yep.
Oh, and then there's some other apps you can get.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Different things to enhance that stuff. All right, Sandy.
Green had a question.
No.
Yeah, you do.
Well, I just can't find where, the Windows Update.
Windows Update.
You used to be able to push the, the update button and you get all the programs where you could click
Tell
on
me if I
programs.
needed any updates.
Yeah. So you go to the start menu.
But that's the problem. The start menu, where to go?
Under apps or
Nope. Settings.
settings?
Start menu settings.
Okay.
Update and security.
Oh, okay. You know?
Yep.
I couldn't find it.
I know it actually took me a minute or so to find it too. But yeah, you click on that, and mine already updated, but there was an update that my computer installed today. So you go to the start menu button, then you click on settings, third one from the bottom, and then the very bottom right one is update and security.
Yeah, I guess I have this computer automatically
Yeah.
update. And so it's just saying your device was updated last check at 8:50 a.m. this morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mine was last checked at 10:51 because that's when I actually clicked here to see if there were any updates, because there was an issue with the Windows Store. And so I went there and it said, "You've got to update pending. You need to reboot." Sometimes the Windows updates require a reboot before they fully install. So mine had to reboot, and it rebooted.
But
And
didn't give you any kind of notice about that. You had to look for it.
no, it'll
It'll give you.
eventually it'll let you know that.
Reboot in 10 minutes. And let
Yeah,
you know.
or an hour, or you can click the postpone button and tell how long you want to postpone it. But I haven't had that happen on Windows 10 yet, so I'm not sure how exactly that looks. But all the notifications so far have been in the bottom
Okay.
right corner, right above your system tray. Windows 8, they used to come up here in the top right, but in Windows 10, they're coming down on the bottom right. So anytime you plug something in or you get a notification of a new email or something, it's popping down or popping up in the lower right corner of the screen. And it makes and if your sound's turned on, it makes a sound, letting you know both audio and visual. Visual being it popping up, audio, it makes some kind of noise to let you know that there's a notification there. And if you click on that notification, it'll take you to whatever that is, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or your email or Windows Update, whatever it is. It'll take you to that program.
It's always been a mystery because we have 2 laptops and a desktop, and
Mm-hmm.
I'll get a whole series of updates on my computer, but the other computer, the same operating system, I thought, but it doesn't update the other one.
So,
Or you don't get the same number.
right. That'll depend on, it has to be the same operating system, obviously, to have the exact same updates. Another factor is whether it's a 32-bit or 64-bit operating system. And if they're different, then they'll have different updates.
But you would think that if they updated the 64 system, that
Mhm.
they also could have an update for the 32.
Yeah, but it may not be quite as
It may
extensive.
be one line versus,
Right.
you know, when they have the major,
Yeah.
Huh.
Yep.
one of those mysteries of life.
Yes. So that would be my only guess. And if it was an older operating system, you know, for a couple of versions they were doing, you know, you had the Home Edition and the Pro Edition and the Enterprise and the Ultimate. So if those were different, you'd get different updates for that as
I'll
well.
explain it to you.
But
This one's a pro and those are premium or home
Yeah.
or whatever. Yeah.
yeah, so that would change too because you have different features because you paid for more features. So yeah, that would change the kinds of updates also. But that's the only other thing I could think of why it would do
Okay.
different amounts. Unless it updated at a different time and didn't tell you.
Yeah.
So I've got thumb drives here for you, Sandy.
Great, okay, show me, from scratch, how to, okay, I want to download the pictures that Bill gave me.
Yes.
Look at them, okay, Daniel's computer,
From where?
from a thumb drive,
Okay.
Bill gave me,
Yes.
okay? And so, I'm gonna go into my computer, now that I know what's going, and, okay, what kind of message am I gonna get on the screen to show that there's a thumb drive?
Let's see.
It's basically an external
Yeah.
memory device.
So sometimes it doesn't, which I don't. Sometimes it chooses to tell you it does, sometimes it doesn't. So the easiest way, honestly, Sandy, is to just open up your File Explorer, the little folder, after you've plugged it in.
Okay.
Okay.
There we go. That's what I wanted to do. The little folder icon here, the vanilla folder icon.
Okay, so,
It's on your, menu too.
File Explorer.
Yeah, it should be on your window if you haven't pinned it.
And then File Folder.
Yep.
Okay.
So then you look for, if Bill's named the disk, then you look for the name of the disk. But mine, it's just called removable disk. So you click on the removable disk. Oh, and all that's on there currently. So you just click on it, just like you would any kind of folder or file on your computer.
Okay,
And now there's a PowerPoint there
okay,
from 2014.
okay.
So then what you're gonna wanna do, if you wanna copy those pictures, is that your end goal? So to do that, this is how I do it. I think it's the easiest way. So you click on this same icon, but you right click this time.
Okay, let's click on File Folder.
Yep.
Okay.
Again.
Okay.
And then you left click on the third option from the bottom, which is File Explorer. And what that does is it brings up another instance of it. So now you have two copies open at the same time. Let me do that before I.
Okay.
Okay, so now what I'm gonna do personally is I'm gonna drag this. If you drag a window, and this works for any window on your computer, for anyone running Windows 8 or 10, if you drag it all the way to one side, it's gonna auto-fill half your screen with it. And then it's gonna show me the other windows that are open. And I'm gonna pick the other one. So now they're side by side. And then you just pick where you wanna copy it to. So if they're pictures, you can click on your pictures folder, pick the folder you want, create a new folder, and then you would, if there's a whole bunch of them, Control A does select all, and then you would simply drag it over here while holding the right or the left mouse button and dropping it.
Control A.
Yep, Control A is select all. So if we take a look at this one right here, Control A highlights everything here.
Okay.
And then you would just, and when you click Control A, you just click on any one of these files or folders, and you drag it and see it's got the number 33, letting me know that I've selected 33 items. And then you simply pull it over to the other window, and then it'll bring up a copy menu, and it'll show you how far along it's gone to copying those files over. Let me see if we can, we're gonna eject this one. It is not currently in use. I'm not doing anything with it. There we go. Let's see.
Oh, message comes up safe to remove, by the way.
Yeah, so if you want to ensure that, because when you unplug these without doing that, there's always a slight chance that you could damage the files.
Mhm.
So one of the things that you do is you click on here, and this little disc with a check mark on it lets you know your external things you've got attached to your computer.
Mhm.
And you right click or you left click on it, and then you just left click on the eject button.
Oh,
And then it, for some reason, the first time it told me it was still working. It might have still been trying to read what was on the disk. So now it's safe to remove. And then you can guarantee that you're not taking a risk. It's often a small risk, but it can happen. So if you don't want to lose any, if you don't want the potential for losing files, always go to that menu down there. Little.
okay.
So that's the show hidden icon.
Yeah, show hidden icons, the little up arrow right here. This little arrow.
Yeah.
So these aren't all your icons that are currently in your start menu or your taskbar.
And which one did you right click on?
You can left click. I forgot. You can. It's the safely remove hardware and eject media icon. If you don't have anything plugged in, it's not going to show up.
Oh, okay.
But it looks like a thumb drive with a little green check mark on it. If you can see that right there on the screen.
Okay.
So, no, all I have is a video. Well, but I can copy the video over,
Okay.
and it'll show you what the progress bar looks like, because this is like 2 gigs.
Oh,
See, so it's letting you know it's copying one item from my Brian W. external drive to the pictures folder on my computer, and it's 8% complete. 10% complete. So if you were copying, 33 pictures from Bill, it would say copying 33 items from whatever to your pictures folder, or wherever you decide to save it. You can pause it for whatever reason, or you can cancel it. And I'm going to cancel it because I already have that video on my computer. And that's what you do.
okay.
So you get these 2 windows open, and you just highlight or just drag them individually, the ones that you want. Or you can always right click on it and go send to, and then it'll give you options. But I always find it easier to just drag and drop. So that's how you would do it.
Okay.
And then when you're done, it is not in use, I promise you. There we go.
That's good to know about that one.
Yeah, again, it's probably not a huge deal, but there is always the option that it'll do that. And this is an external hard drive. We talked about this before. It works the exact same way. So
Tell me when.
it's good.
Tell us about Mark's dilemma.
Beth's computer locked up while I forget the circumstances, but anyway, her computer locked up. And so Mark's going to be gone for a couple weeks. So he decided since he doesn't ever bring his computers with him, that he would just migrate her files from a backup or something, I don't, to his computer. And when he did that, whatever locked her computer up was already on that device. And so he plugged it in his computer and it completely locked up his also.
Oh, yeah.
So they went from 2 good computers to down to 1 to out of all their computers. So he's now out shopping this morning.
It's an Apple one.
Yep.
Yeah, apples are foolproof. They never get viruses.
They're not foolproof, but they're more secure. Yeah.
Because people just don't write the viruses for.
Yep, they don't often write the coding, and who knows what it was that caused it. I don't know.
Yeah, when he travels, he needs this.
Yeah. So anyway, he's out shopping. He said, I'll miss your class this morning because I'm going to be out shopping for a new computer. Good news, bad news. You know.
They asked him whether he bought a piece.
No, he was going to Apple.
Apple store.
Yeah.
You have to buy a whole new computer?
Yeah.
You just can't.
You can run it up.
He was on the phone with Apple specialists,
No.
and they weren't able to do anything.
Wow.
He couldn't even get into the menu screen. Both PCs and Mac have the login screen where you type in your password to get into your computer, and he wasn't able to get to that point. Couldn't even get there. So
Bad.
yeah, big issue when you can't get that far. So, and there are there's options that you can do if any of you experience that problem when your computer first starts up. And why they don't make this universal for every computer, I don't know. But there's, your function buttons, your F1 through F12.
F8.
It can be F8, it can be F12, it can be F2. Like, again, I don't know why it's not universal, but you press one of those buttons and it'll take you into, you just keep pressing it until it's like when you're at a stoplight and you're trying to crosswalk. Almost nobody ever just pushes that button once. You just constantly push it until
It doesn't matter, but
no, it doesn't. But I always do that on my computer. I don't care if I know that it's F2. I will press F2 20 times until that menu actually appears. And there you can boot it in safe mode, and that disables almost everything on your computer except the most basic parts of it. And that sometimes can let you in to be able to figure out what's wrong with your computer. But anyway, it's hard. But Windows 10, so when I upgraded to Windows 10, I then had an update to not just the virus definitions for Norton, but the entire program had to update to a new version of it. And when I did that, it needed to reboot the computer. And so I said, okay, and for whatever reason, I don't know, it must not have, it said that there was not an error installing, but an error updating some of the virus definitions. And so I figured that wasn't a big deal. I've had that happen before. But when my computer rebooted, it got stuck on the loading screen, wouldn't let me even into the same thing with Mark, it wouldn't let me to the login screen to get into the computer. Excuse me. And Windows 10 said this is taking longer than expected. We'll reboot again. And so it rebooted the computer, and it tried to do stuff on its own. So if it's a minor issue, Windows will take care of itself. But if it's a bigger issue, so I had to go through all these different menus and was able to, your computer automatically takes snapshots, I guess is the best way of putting it, of your computer at certain points. So if you uninstall a program, it'll take a snapshot before you uninstall or before you install, like right before you install a program. Yeah, restore points is what they call them. And so I was able to restore to earlier that day because I just randomly uninstalled a program that I just don't use anymore. And so I was fortunate that I'd done that earlier that day so that I could restore it to the same day. And then I uninstalled Norton and just reinstalled from scratch instead of using the updater, and everything worked fine again. But there was about a half hour where I thought my computer was toast.
Oh, boy. Scary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So having an external hard drive, having Carbonite, having Dropbox if Dropbox is, you know, enough amount of space for you. Those are all different options you can do, but it's always a good option to have an external copy of your computer, whether it's physical or cloud based, so that you can, so you don't lose all your stuff. Beck and I have had that happen a couple times before cloud was big and before we really, so we hadn't had issues. Of course, they were stolen, so you can't really, that has nothing to do with your
A
computer.
long time ago where I had to take my battery out.
Yeah.
And recharge it. Reboot it, I guess, completely. I don't know what.
Yeah, well, your battery, with laptops, your batteries are, they're lithium ion rechargeable batteries. So eventually they go bad. And you can actually go onto Amazon and just buy a replacement battery. And there, for whatever reason, even though it's just the battery, you can actually have all kinds of weird technical issues with your computer just because your battery's going bad. That would seem to have nothing to do with the battery. And another option is if you do use a laptop like a desktop and keep it plugged in all day long, if you want to preserve your battery, you can just take your battery out. Because because it's plugged in, the battery has nothing to do with powering the computer anymore. So you can just pull the battery out and just leave it in a drawer somewhere. And then when you know you're going to go out and about with it, then you just pull it out of the drawer, pop it back into the battery tray, and you're good to go.
Before you unplug it.
Yes, yes, and make sure you charge it up before you go on. You know, just like you got to charge your camera batteries and all those.
Yeah, so if this computer had a fully charged computer battery, I took it out, a week later, I put it back in and take off.
It might have.
It might have some, but I should put it in.
Yeah.
Give it enough time to charge.
Because it's going to slow it. You might be at 70%, depending on the health of the battery, how old the battery is, how much you've been using it. But yeah, I mean, if it'll still lose some of its charge, even if you're not using it.
Little lights on it where you push the button and it'll show you how much charge is on it.
Oh, yeah, it's constant.
On the battery itself, you can have your battery out and you push
Oh,
the
I've
button
never had
and
that.
there's about 5 lights on it
Oh,
and it'll tell you what to do.
Some have that, some don't. Yeah.
Maybe it's for maybe certain types of batteries.
Hmm.
All the Dells that I have had.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't think my Lenovo has that feature.
you know, I was thinking, I do it when I'm at home, I always have it plugged in. So I could just take it out.
Yeah. Preserve the life of the battery. Yep. Yep. That's one of the things. That's one of the a little tip that I learned about a long time ago. And mine actually, my laptop has a software feature. Here, I can show you real quick before we end class for the day. No, that's that one. Here we go. Energy management. So I can, the battery, optimize battery health. So there's different, I can choose different options for how it works. And I forget which one it is. It's not giving me little tool tips right now. But it lets you know that this feature, so optimized battery health, I think it doesn't charge my battery at all while I'm plugged in.
Oh, that would be nice. I thought it was automatic.
This mode maximizes your battery life, gives you the longest battery lifespan. So yeah, so I think right now, because I'm plugged in, it's not actually charging the battery. It's just running off the power cord while knowing that the battery's plugged in. So there's different, and this is, so I can power saver balanced high performance if I'm doing, can even run my fan to remove dust. I do that sometimes just to cool down my computer if it's running hot. So, and this is for Lenovo, but they might have similar options for other manufacturers. It was also in my little, no, not settings. It was down here in my little start tray. So I've got Bluetooth and sound and my touchpad, my theater, so I can choose how I want my speakers to sound, the energy management.
It's under settings, probably went into your settings.
So different things.
He's down there.
Your system tray.
Icon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on the bottom right of your screen. Yep. It might look different, or Dell may not, or Dell might not have it in the system tray. So there's different options for that. Yeah.
Okay.
Thanks, guy.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Aubrey came out with your beach.
Oh yeah, she got stung by